Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, Assessing the MBTI by Lori Smith. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI assessment, is a well-known and widely used personality test. This assessment is meant to reveal one's personality type. We understand personality to be a unique constellation of traits or characteristics. Personality type is a grouping of these consistent traits. Through a series of questions, the MBTI evaluates 4 dimensions of personality. This identifier helps you identify your natural preferences. They provide results in the form of a 4-letter identifier. What do these letters mean? These letters are acronyms, and each refers to a specific trait, with certain trait combinations forming various types and type groups. This self-reporting instrument evaluates 4 different scales. You could be either an extrovert, E, or an introvert, I. This portion reveals how you respond and interact with the world around you. How you direct and receive energy. By focusing on the outside world, interacting with people and taking action, or by focusing on your inner world and alone time, reflecting on ideas, memories, and experiences. Sensing versus intuition, S or N, aims to answer how do you take in information. By logically analyzing the situation based on what you can see, hear, touch. People who prefer sensing pay attention to reality, focusing on facts and details. Do you consider what's important to the people involved? People who prefer intuition think about possibilities, imagining the future, and abstract theories. Thinking, T, versus feeling, F, this scale focuses on how people make decisions. If you are someone who wants just the facts, Jack, and the straight objective data, you are considered thinking. If you are someone who is more likely to consider people and emotions in your decision-making process, you would be considered feeling. Judging versus perceiving, J versus P, this section deals with how you approach the outside world. Judging is not to be confused with side-eye and gossip. If you are judging, you approach the world in a planned, orderly way, preferring structure and firm decisions. Perceiving people are more open, flexible, spontaneous, and adaptable. Your natural preferences in these 4 areas sort you into one of 16 distinct MBTI personality types. The MBTI is an effective way to assess your innate personality type preferences. Knowing your preferences can better assist you in making decisions and communicating with others. The goal of the MBTI is to allow respondents to further explore and understand their own personalities, including their likes, dislikes, strengths, weaknesses, possible career preferences, and compatibility with other people. Understanding these types give you objective insight that you can use to enhance your professional and personal relationships, as well as your direction, focus, and choices. The MBTI instrument was first developed in 1943 by Catherine Cook Briggs and her daughter, Isabel Briggs Myers. Catherine Briggs was a teacher with an avid interest in personality typing. She earned a bachelor's degree in agriculture from the Michigan Agricultural College, which is now called Michigan State University. Isabel Briggs Myers received her bachelor's degree in political science from Swarthmore College in Pennsylvania. Together, Catherine and Isabel, this mother and daughter team, worked to develop a convenient way to describe the order of each person's preferences. They studied psychologist Carl Jung's ideas on psychological type and interpreted and refined his ideas to understand the people around them. An assumption guiding the development of this assessment was that people exhibit definite preferences in the way that they perceive or become aware of and judge or arrive at conclusions about people, events, situations, and ideas. According to Myers, these differences in perception and judging result in corresponding differences in their reactions, in their interests, values, needs, and motivations, in what they do best, and in what they like to do. After her mother's passing, Isabel Briggs Myers worked with the Educational Testing Service, a major assessment publisher, who helped develop the MBTI assessment and publish it in 1962. Since then, the MBTI assessment has been updated regularly based on continuing research by trained psychologists. The Myers-Briggs Company became the exclusive publisher of the MBTI in 1975. The most recent commercial forms of the MBTI assessment were developed by a core team of 5 PhD-level psychologists and researchers. The official website, MBTI Online, continually works with organizations like the British Psychological Association and the American Psychological Association to meet the highest standards in personality psychology. They compare their scientifically validated assessments to other psychological assessments to ensure consistency in measurements. The MBTI is used widely as a personality inventory in vocational, educational, and psychotherapy settings to evaluate personality type in adolescents and adults ages 13 and older. Although there is no specific cutoff point for the use of the MBTI tool with younger people, as long as they have the 7th grade reading level capacity to understand the questionnaire, it is generally recommended that the MBTI tool is not suitable for those younger than 13. According to the Myers-Briggs theory, your personality type is inborn, and it doesn't change. As you age and mature, you develop different facets of your personality type, but the letters remain the same. The MBTI tool includes forced choice questions, where a person must choose only one of 2 possible answers to each question. The choices are a mixture of word pairs and short statements. The forced choice format helps the detection of malingering. The Myers-Briggs type indicator is considered an objective test. Items of the MBTI are able to be answered quickly, allowing the administration of many items, covering varied aspects of the traits the MBTI is designed to assess. The challenge of this objective test is it is subject to the willingness and ability of the responder to be open, honest, and self-reflective enough to represent and report their true personality. So although objective tests have more validity, this limits their reliability. There are 4 different assessments. The MBTI Form M contains 93 questions and takes approximately 15 to 25 minutes to complete. This is the current standard form of the MBTI. Online administration and scoring is available through the Myers-Briggs company. Computer or template scoring is also available. This same version is also available as a Form M self-scorable, where it is hand-scored by the individual taking the assessment or by a professional. MBTI Step 2, Form Q, contains 144 questions and takes 25 to 30 minutes. This is used to also generate this 4-letter personality type, but also scores on 20 facet scales that highlight individual differences within their type. This version is used when in-depth individual feedback is needed for something like coaching or counseling. Step 3 contains 222 items. This interpretive report is written directly to the test taker using non-typed language. Step 3 is designed as a one-on-one session with a trained professional to help address self-confidence, difficulties, enjoyment, and more. Because of the personal counseling format, Step 3 does not provide testing times. Unlike many other types of psychological evaluations, your results are not compared against any norms. Instead of looking at your score in comparison to the results of other people, the goal of the MBTI is to simply offer further information about your own unique personality. There is no such thing as a right or wrong type. There are no right or wrong answers. No one personality type is better or worse than the next. MBTI isn't a tool designed to look for dysfunction or abnormality. Instead, its goal is simply to help you learn more about yourself. According to the Myers-Briggs Foundation, it is important to remember that all types are equal and that every type has value. With objective methods of personality assessment, scoring is done according to set procedures involving little judgment of the scorer, thus preventing bias and influence of the examiner's own beliefs. But who are these examiners? Only a certified MBTI practitioner is allowed and deemed capable of administering and interpreting the assessments and results. Someone that has their master's or higher in a psychology, counseling, organizational development, or related field, or holds equivalent licensing, are eligible to enroll in the Myers-Briggs Company certification program to receive the designation of a certified practitioner. The MBTI certification training program is a 4-day interactive workshop. This certification seminar includes all training and materials for a total cost of $2,495 to attend virtually. To attend an in-person seminar, the only rate I was able to find was from 2018 for a cost of $1,695 for a public location training. The location was chosen by the Myers-Briggs Company. They will also come to you. MBTI Training Institute also provides certification training for groups with a minimum of 10 people, where they will visit your business or company to host the seminar. Pricing was unavailable for this, but I'm assuming it's also astronomical. Without this official certification, someone with the required qualifications is able to purchase a guide to the development and use of the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator instrument. With this manual, they're able to read how to administer and apply the MBTI inventory for the price of $167 directly from the Myers-Briggs company, but are still not allowed to practice without becoming a certified practitioner. These eligibility requirements help ensure that each practitioner fully understands the best and most ethical way to administer, interpret, and apply the MBTI assessment. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator has its advantages. Being an objective test, the MBTI is able to be scored with little to no bias by the scorer. Each administration and scorer must be an official certified practitioner. The MBTI is a robust tool for self-awareness and improvement, providing a better understanding of yourself and those around you. These results have helped thousands of organizations and millions of people around the world improve how they communicate, learn, and work. MBTI insights enhance personal development, supporting team and leadership training, conflict management, career change, and transitions. The Myers-Briggs company claims MBTI to be one of the world's most popular personality tools, used by more than 88% of Fortune 500 companies in 115 countries. This personality test is available in 29 languages. Multi-international companies value the common language used by the MBTI assessment for discussing interpersonal differences, making the preferred choice for training and development programs around the world the MBTI. They also provide easy access. If you can pay, you can play. The Myers-Briggs company offers the only official Myers-Briggs Type Indicator test for the cost of $49.95, available on MBTIonline.com. Just as it has its advantages, it also has its disadvantages. The MBTI's publishers say the questions are appropriate for anyone who can read at the 7th grade level, but that leaves out much of the world's population, and the questions are exclusionary in their content and framing. They involve making decisions about what to do at parties, talk to everyone or just one person, how to plan a vacation ahead of time or at the last minute, or how to succeed at an office job or at school. The scenarios they depict are not always relatable. Many people have never had the money, the leisure time, or the opportunity to make these kinds of decisions. The initial MBTI creators, Catherine Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers, lack any psychology or sociology formal training or education. They were wives and mothers who believed that their daily chores of managing their households or tending to the emotional needs of their children and husbands, and reading a few books by psychologist Carl Jung, made them especially suited to understand individual personalities and interpersonal relationships. This type-based theory struggles to describe or characterize people whose scores are somewhere close to the middle. Because of my situational responses due to the pandemic, my responses may classify me as an I, or an introvert, rather than E, which I think I am, an extrovert. Because of the cost associated with the MBTI, the general public will often turn to an easier access, free online alternative that claims to offer the same personality typology and letter system. Paid assessments tend to have much smaller respondent samples and struggle when it comes to improving or expanding their theoretical framework to ensure cultural validity. The reliability of the MBTI results are often compared to that of a simple BuzzFeed quiz, and scholars debate that it should not be used in any professional setting for legitimate means of understanding people. The first journal article to review the MBTI is Trust in Name Brand Assessments, the case of the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. This article surveyed organizational practitioners and organizational scholars in their preferences for using name brand assessments, and then surveyed cognitive measures, one's confidence in the MBTI for specific certain purposes, and affective measures, one's global feelings of trust in the MBTI. The study included 187 participants, 112 practitioners, and 75 scholars. Name brands help to alleviate the difficult decision-making process by reducing the uncertainty and perceived risk involved in purchasing a product. Name brands reduce perceived risk so much that people are willing to pay substantially more for a name brand product than for an unbranded product. The age and popularity of the MBTI assessment encourages familiarity and brand name recognition. Ultimately, practitioners placed far more trust in the MBTI than scholars, and differing preferences for name brand assessments help to explain this difference. Participants' intuitive decision-making styles led to greater preferences for name brand assessments, which in turn led to greater trust in the MBTI. The decision-making process of practitioners and scholars shed light on the MBTI's resounding popularity among practitioners despite scholars' concerns with the assessment. Our second article is titled Measuring the MBTI and Coming Up Short. The purpose of this article is to assess if the MBTI measures what it claims to measure. This article examined the MBTI statistical structure and its reliability. For the statistical structure, Pettinger, the author, expected that since people are either introverts or extroverts, the test results would show two different curves, or a bimodal distribution, with one curve representing introverts and the other the extroverts. Instead, their data indicated no evidence of bimodal distributions for the MBTI. Instead, it showed most people scoring between the two extremes. This means that although one person may score as an E, their results may be very similar to those of another person who scored as an I. Reliability. If the test is not reliable, we don't know if the changes in the score for test and retest reliability are due to changes in the person being measured or due to some type of error in the testing process or the test itself. Because personality type is considered to be a constant characteristic, we would expect that people's personality would not change over time. Studies conducted by Pettinger show that even when the test-retest interval was just 5 weeks apart, as many as 50% of the people were classified in a different type. This article suggested that such changes in personality across such a short interval of time should not have occurred with an assessment if it were truly reliable. Journal Article 3, Validity and Reliability of the Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator, features a systematic review of the literature and meta-analysis of the MBTI. The authors offer insight on the utility of the tool and recommend it be used to inform advisement and teaching methods, but not for screening students for admissions. This comprehensive literature thoroughly examined 221 articles and 7 specific studies containing MBTI construct validity. The majority of the studies examined were conducted on college-age students in various programs of study. The published works examined were limited to earlier versions of the MBTI instrument. 4 of the 7 studies identified did lend support that the instrument is a valid representation of the theory of personality preferences. The authors conclude that the MBTI should be constantly and continuously scrutinized and tested for validity. They warn that for the indicator to work properly, up-to-date evidence to support validity should be of the highest quality possible. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, referred to as the MBTI, is a personality test that aims to provide you with a 4-letter identifier for your personality type. This objective test includes forced choice type questions at a 7th grade reading level meant for ages 13 and older. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator has earned mixed reviews throughout the years. It is widely used in workforce settings, but many assessment professionals have expressed serious concerns about the MBTI on psychometric and related grounds. Regardless of such criticism, the test remains very popular, especially among counselors and organizational consultants. From my research, I have found that the MBTI does not like to be called a test because it is a tool for individual assessment and evaluation. Visit mbtionline.com to pay your $50 for a highly debatable personality inventory, or you can take one of the many Myers-Briggs Type Indicator knockoff tests on any random website to get the same information, or, to sweeten the deal, you can visit BuzzFeed to find out just what flavor cupcake you are. Thank you.